Hey folks, welcome to episode 201 of Chrome Pipes and Pinstripes. I'm your host Royboy from RoyboyProductions.com. That's the website where you can find all the hot rod and custom car show photos that I take for you all over the country. There's one website to go to, nearly 100,000 images, maybe a little more, not sure anymore. A lot of them, I lost count. And you could go see car show features, you could see car features, you could see interviews with people. That's the home base for Chrome Pipes and Pinstripes and everything that I do. So it's been a while since I put a podcast out. It's actually been since about July of 2020, and there's not been a ton going on. I mean, it's the pandemic. There's not a ton of stuff to do, but I figured I'd give you an update because I'm going to get back into regularly recorded podcasts in the coming weeks here. In fact, I've got the next episode already recorded, ready to go, and that will be coming out in just a few days from the time that this one goes live. And I'm trying something new. So if you're listening to the podcast, you won't know this, but if you're a Patreon subscriber, you're going to get as much as I can. You're going to get videos of the podcast recording. Whenever possible, I'll record video of myself and the people I'm talking to. Hopefully when we do it in person, we can set up a couple cameras and do that as well. But that's exclusive to the folks who go to Patreon and support the Royboy Productions page on Patreon. The reason I asked to do that is because, quite simply, since 2005, Royboy Productions has come out of my own pocket. Everything I've done, I've paid for. The web hosting, the podcast hosting, the upgrades you have to do on the websites constantly. There's always something to pay extra money for to keep websites up and going, even little piddly sites like mine. So this is just a way of me trying to cover the bases of that stuff without having to constantly dig in my pocket. So even before the pandemic, and I'm driving to shows all the time, all that gas money, that's my gas money. Royboy Productions doesn't really make any money. So Patreon is just my way of saying, hey, if you dig what I do, go ahead and, throw me a couple bucks and help me pay for it, and I'll do more of it for you. So anyways, go there, check out the live video, or not live videos, check out the videos I'm recording while I'm doing the podcast. I'm hoping to put some more stuff up there as well, just to make it more worthwhile for everybody who's over there. So, episode 201. I keep trying to say 2001, some weird click in my brain, but 201. Literally since July of last year, I've only gone to like 2 car shows, maybe 3. I don't remember now. When I came back from the Flaming Gorge Resort, we did another podcast, and then later that month, it's like, okay, it's time for the Stray Cat or the KKOA. Yeah, it was canceled. Stray Cat last year was canceled as well. But the first week of August, I went with my new job, Affordable Street Rods, and a t-shirt I'm wearing in the video, if you can see it. And we went to the NSRA Nationals in Louisville. I did not think that show was gonna happen. With all that's going on in the world and all that was going on specifically in Louisville last summer, really did not think that show was going to happen. But we went, we vended. You could ask me how the show went. I don't know. I basically was not outside of the building while the show was going on for the entire weekend. I went out for like a handful of pictures once, and then we were so busy in the booth, I didn't have a chance to get out there and take photos. But it went well for what we were able to do. We come home from Louisville and didn't really do much. I know that a bunch of friends went out to Bonneville. I couldn't go. The next trip for me was the Hot Rod Rock and Rumble at the end of August up in Colorado Springs at the Pikes Peak International Raceway. I really have a good time with that show. I didn't think that was going to happen. We get up there and it was packed. It was a great turnout. Lots of cool cars, lots of cool people, and definitely recommend that show. If you've never been to it before, definitely go check it out because I think you'll enjoy it. I'm checking here to make sure my recorder is actually recording. Hopefully it is. If not, we'll just have to do this for like a third time. But this is the second time recording this thing. So let's see. Did not take the car out there. It just wasn't. The Galaxy wasn't ready. It was having some issues last year, and I didn't have the time or money to get it fixed. In fact, it's still at this point not fixed. Hopefully, that's going to happen soon before the Stray Cat 500 the first week of May. Really had a good time though, hanging out with the Lonely Nights Car Club out there and checking out all the cool cars and watching the drag races, the burnout competitions, the pin-up competitions, all the live bands. Hot Rod Walt was there, and just hanging out with a lot of really good friends. Labor Day weekend is typically when I go to the Greaserama, but this year I didn't do it. And sorry to all you Los Punk Riders crew, I just didn't do it this year. I don't know, something about the car not being up kind of had me down, I guess. I just didn't head out there for it. So hopefully next year we'll get to do that again, or this later this year. The weekend after that is the Lead Ain't Dead show. So the first weekend of September, of course, usually Labor Day. The weekend after that, we do Lead Ain't Dead in Dewey, Oklahoma. That show did happen, and I was able to go down to it. We had a good time. I got to see a bunch of custom brethren there and hang out and talk about cool customs all weekend. It was nice to see folks again. We didn't do the reliability run stuff on Friday. We literally just showed up for Saturday and hung out with friends and then left on Sunday. It was well needed at that point. You know, all of you probably know the same thing. If you've been at home for months, you need to get out and get the car on the road and go see some friends. So I drove the Galaxy down there and back and basically chewed up a tire doing that because I knew I had an issue with the control arm. But, well, you know, it happens. That's why I didn't want to drive anywhere else. I didn't want to tear up tires unnecessarily. And for whatever reason, I decided that weekend was worth it. Later in September, we had the open house at Affordable Street Rods, which was kind of cool. When I took the job, I was like, okay, as long as I can hit these 5 or 6 shows that I really want to go to, I'm cool with all the new scheduling and job stuff, right? A couple months later, I realized, the open house is the same weekend as the Hot Rod Hill Climb this year. Crap. So I'm not glad the Hot Rod Hill Climb was canceled. I'm sad about that. But if there had to be one that had to be canceled, one I couldn't make anyways, I feel oddly happy. That's happy's not the right word. Relieved I didn't miss one of the best times of the year while everybody else got to be there. That's very selfish of me. I just realized, wow, it's coming off very selfish. That's not what I mean. I mean, if nobody can have a good time, I'm glad that it's a weekend that I also wasn't going to have a great, I don't know. The words aren't there. You know what I'm saying, hopefully. But the Hot Rod Hill Climb, I hear, is things are looking good for this year's show, for 2021. They did just announce the Hot Rod Dirt Drags for 2021 are canceled. Kind of saw that coming when it was a couple months out and still no dates had been mentioned or anything. So all the love out to Mike and crew. I know it's a heck of a hard thing to put on a show right now because the government of each state doesn't know week to week what they're going to let you do and not let you do. So really, all my heart goes out to them because I know it's tough. So that was in the middle of September, and I didn't do much until late October after that. But Rex and Annette at work went out on 2 3-week-long road trips in the fall. And that first one started like the week after that event, maybe 2 weeks after it now. But so it was an interesting time, being my first time to be at the shop for multiple weeks in a row with nobody there to help, just me, and learned a lot. It's something that I'm I wasn't like nervous or anything about it. It's just that there's questions every day that I don't know the answer to because I've only worked on a couple of cars. And it's always good to have a vast wealth of knowledge that is Rex there to answer questions. So the more and more they're gone, the more I'm taking care of on my own, and it's completely cool and all. But yeah, that first trip last fall there's a little anxiety to it. We did get to late in October head down to Bartlesville again, which is Dewey and Bartlesville, Oklahoma are just right next to each other, a couple miles apart. Outside of Bartlesville is a place called Woolarock. The stripped down version of the story is Woolarock is where a museum is that was started by Frank Phillips of Phillips 66 fame. It's also where the Gathering at the Rock happens. The very first ever Gathering at the Rock car show was there, Halloween 2020. Man, that was good. It was a beautiful day, first of all. Just phenomenally gorgeous day. And the cars were amazing. The scenery there is amazing. You're sitting there waiting for the Buffalo to walk across the road as you're pulling in. It's a way cool experience. Jason from Hot Rod Garage, had told me years ago about this show he wants to do, the show he wants to do, and I'm so stoked for those guys to have been able to pull this show off. And here we are in April 2021. The show happened on Halloween in October. The 2021 show is already filled up. They have a set number of spots, and it's not like invitation only, but you have to be accepted to get in, and they are full. You can't fit more cars in there now. So to be scheduled out like that so far in advance on their second ever show, totally cool. I'm really, really proud of those guys for Brandon, for Jason, for everybody involved in putting on a fantastic event. And I cannot commend it enough. The only thing that was lacking was places to sit after you got some food from the amazing food trucks. Just when everybody was trying to eat lunch at the same time, there were just not enough chairs. But, I mean, that's one of those little details. How do you plan for that unless you've actually had an event before, you know? We really had a great time there, and we'll definitely be back this year. In fact, this show has moved up this year to my birthday weekend early in October. So if you're at the Gathering at the Rock this year, you know, make sure you say happy birthday to me. I appreciate that kind of stuff. So later in the year, there wasn't really much for me to do. We did my December run again, the first week in December, and didn't promote it a lot because with all COVID stuff going on, I didn't want to put out there, I'm going to put this giant event together. And it's like, you know what? Let's just invite a handful of people, and we'll hop in our cars and we'll go out and recreate the first route that we did the very first December run back in 2010. Figuring it was 2020, it was a good time to recreate that route. We did none of the stops. Didn't do the tour of the Motorcycle Museum. Didn't do the tour of the McPherson College auto restoration place facilities. Didn't do any of that just because, again, COVID stuff. So here we are. That gets us all the way through the end of the year. January, we were all excited. We're going to go back to Flaming Gorge for the snow rally. And then Rex and Annette both come down with COVID the first week of January. So I basically canceled my plans there because with them both being sick, and they were truly very, very, very sick, I couldn't go. I had to stay back and keep the shop going and keep things going because, it's three of us. So I had to do that. Been really lucky through that time and the following months, been able to work very closely with them as they got better, and we're pushing so much in that business and growing so quickly right now that it's kind of crazy. And the next trip they go out on for 2 weeks is going to be interesting to be there by myself because so many phone calls and people coming in every day. It's going to be really a chore to keep up, but it's a great problem to have. I'm happy to do it. Talking about work way too much here. Way too much. That's all I did the last year. It's COVID times. I didn't do anything. So let's talk about work. It's what's on my mind. So yeah, did not get to go to the snow rally, which turned into the mud rally. And if you go out there and just search Flaming Gorge Resort snow rally, you'll probably see more pictures than you ever want to see. It was really cool looking. Everybody looked like they had a great time. I was jealous. Really, I have a hard time. I'm used to looking at the microphone while I'm talking. So if people are watching the videos, sorry, I'm not looking at the camera. Okay, I'm doing that more now. Okay, now it's creepy. I'm just staring at you. Hey, how you doing? What you wearing there? Yeah, that's kind of weird. Anyways, I haven't really done another show since then. Everything's been canceled so far this year. So we're getting ready right now to go to the Stray Cat 500, the first weekend of May, always the first full weekend of May. Sorry, not first weekend, first full weekend of May. So 7th, 8th, 9th will be in Dewey, Oklahoma for the Stray Cat 500. And right now you get to hear my dogs barking. Yay. Thank you, dogs. Really appreciate that. So Stray Cat 500 will be a blast. It always is. We're going to have a bunch of family, a bunch of friends there. I tell everybody the Stray Cat 500 is like a family reunion where you're not related to everybody, except like half of my family shows up. It's kind of ridiculous at this point. That's going to be a good time. Dogs still barking. Thank you so much, dogs. And I get in trouble from my girlfriend because when I hear something that you might not necessarily hear, I comment on it. And she's like, I didn't know about it until you said anything on the podcast. Like, well, yeah, but I hear it and it's throwing me off. And I don't want people to think that I'm just thrown off for nothing. I'm thrown off because I hear something going on. Everybody watching the video can see how much I talk with my hands. It's just way too crazy. This summer, we're hoping that things get back to normal. The KKOA is on schedule for Salina. Should be a really good time. Of course, we'll go back to Louisville. I'll be going back to the 50s with Affordable Street Rods. I don't think I'll make the Pueblo NSRA show. That's the week after Back to the 50s. That's just a whole lot of driving back to back that if I don't have to do it, I might not do it. Might be a little lazy on that. And, of course, we're going to go back to our normal schedule this fall, COVID permitting. But I'm really excited to start recording podcasts again, to start talking with some people again, especially to people I've never talked to before. Go back and pick up some of my old favorites and have them come in and talk about what they've been up to. Lots of cool stuff going on. I really want to get Jason and Brandon from Gathering at the Rock on. The next podcast after this one, we're going to have Matt from Iron Trap Garage. I'm talking with Jay Riggs from Riggs Fabrication there in Fort Worth to have him on in a couple weeks. Cadillac and Mike Hollowell, I want to have you guys on, talk about your new YouTube show. Really fun show to watch. Lots of stuff coming up, and I hope to have some of my old favorites on here as well. If you have not listened to all previous 200 episodes of Chrome Pipes and Pinstripes, you can find them on any of your podcast apps. Or you can just go to chromepipesandpinstripes.com, go to royboyproductions.com. They both lead to the same place. So just go to royboyproductions.com or chromepipesandpinstripes.com. Check all of that out there. If you want to see the live videos or live recorded videos, I keep saying that wrong, you can go to the Patreon page, royboyproductions.com/Patreon. For as little as $1 a month, you can help me pay the hosting bills it takes to keep this website going so that I can continue to do it. So one of the reasons I didn't do pretty much anything the last few months is because it costs money to go places, and I didn't have any spare money. I've recently moved into my new house, my new 1930 house, and a ton of renovation to do, little things here and there, little renovations, but all of them cost a lot of money, especially right now. And, got all that stuff going on. I guess I'm rambling now. I'm just rambling. So until next time, folks, stay safe, don't die. I'll see you at a show.